best. Have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Well, we all live in a world where the popular culture, Instagram, celebrities, speakers say that if you have a dream, believe in it, chasing it, you will get there 100%. But certainty come with a grant, like a guarantee, which is if you believe in it, work for it, you will get there. But this statement is missing one thing, which is failure, as it is a very very important component to success. Let's and the same at the same time, this statement is missing like conditions that might apply. Conditions like what if your health go wrong? What if a pandemic happens? And what if there is this teeny tiny virus that you can't see that not only control your life but the lives of 7 billion people on this earth? What would you do at that time? So I'm just gonna ask you like a couple of questions. There's anyone here who can admit at least he failed once in his life? Is there anyone or how many of you today can admit they have failed more than once in their life? Well, let's take a moment. Okay, that moment is a little bit long. So let's take a moment and think about when we were like child, when we were four. What we wanted to achieve. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor. Maybe you wanted to be a police officer. Maybe you wanted to be an engineer or a lawyer. And think about the same thing when you were 17 or 18 years old. Did this passion or this dream have changed along while you were growing up? So this is me, and I hope the picture is gonna come right now. Okay. Can you please? Thank you. Yes. So this is me when I was 4 years old, a little princess. So you should know one thing that I came from a background of a military family. So my grandfather was in the military. My father was in the military. So for me it was a very obvious choice that I wanted to be in the military. That was my dream since I was 4 years old. So I did literally everything. Like I studied very hard. I was first in my class. I studied the mathematics, physics. I even get trained to pass the physical like trainings that I would have while doing the tests. I filled my application form. I get it reviewed by the teacher, and I send it. So I was having like very very high hopes and high dreams that I really wanted to be. Um, So I wanted to be a fighter pilot. So you wouldn't guess from a princess to someone who wants to pilot this engine. But at the same time, I was really having high hopes and high dreams, and I was sure that that would be my future. I had my future figured out at the age of like 10 or 12 years old. But little did I knew that my application didn't even go through the first phases of like the process of selection. I didn't go through it, so I failed, which made me think that in like all of us, all humans, in some points they fail. It could be something very simple as not getting a driving license, or something as big as losing a big competition or an international competition, as well as maybe losing a $2 million client, which is totally fine at the end of the day. Why? Because we sometimes and always think about success and not thinking how or how can we use failure to succeed, or how we can use failure as a way to success, which I would believe that failure is as equal as success, because we learn a lot of things while failing than while succeeding. But at the same time, I am very and happy and glad that I didn't went through that job or that career. Why? Because That was something that I would prevent me to be here today with you, speaking to you as I love to be surrounded by people, speak to them, work with them, and it turned out to be fine at the end of the day. And now I want to talk about a concept that I love and something that I learned from my mom, which is agility and adaptability. Because I don't know at what point, at what time exactly, my passion for military has shifted real quick. Like, I really don't remember when and what happened. And I started getting interested in buildings, architecture, art. While I didn't know how to draw. Like, I don't know how to draw like a single line. But at the same time, I really wanted, and I became passionate about this. And when I speak about agility, it's that moment that I knew that I wanted to be an architect. So I did everything that was possible for me to know how to draw in 1 week. So I had the test in 1 week, and I had to learn how to pass that exam. So for 1 week, the only thing that I did was drawing, 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 and eventually I succeeded. I passed all the tests, and I get accepted to the school. But once again, it wasn't all what I was expecting and assumed it's gonna be. So during my first year, so I was not prepared, and I was not. Um, no one told me actually that part of being a good architect, and when I say a good architect, I mean good marketer, good negotiator, good communicator, good project management. Because this is the thing that I loved about school, about Leno specifically, is that you learn so many jobs at once. So one of the things that they haven't told me is that one way to be a good architect is also to know how to learn the unlearn, how to unlearn what you've learned and learn what you unlearn. And this is something that really changes the way I see things starting from that year. But at the same time, it was not all pinky, all good, all happy. Redoing the projects, getting yelled by the teachers, getting discouraged, getting encouraged by other teachers was my daily routine for like 6 years. And eventually, it turned out to be something that I have learned and straightened my capabilities in so many things. And one of the things that I've learned while I was at school is that I think we all say that sky is the limit, but is it really? I think the sky is no longer the limit, and you can go above and beyond it, and in any time you want. Um, so this is me in my graduation graduation ceremony. Uh, After all those like times and everything that I went through those 6 years, I couldn't believe that I finally graduated as an architect. But does it mean that I'm gonna work as an architect? I think no, because during those 7 years, I think I've done not all the jobs, but I worked as a babysitter, I worked as a project manager in an NGO, I worked as a model. Not, I'm losing the shape right now, but I did. I was the face of a brand, I was a director, and now I am a CEO of a very big international company. So knowing or going through those failures, and I know if I haven't failed my application to be a pilot, I wouldn't do so many things, and I wouldn't fail in so many things. Those are just like very little examples that I'm giving you today, but I can cite a lot of failing examples. And here, and this is something that I'm not gonna say it's something that I live with every day. It's something that I learned is that I only have to ask myself, what is the worst that can happen if I fail? And though, like, this is that was not a very easy reflection. It's not something I'm just gonna brag that I do every day and like succeed and just think about failure as something very natural. No, it took me so many years. It took me so many discussions, so many exchanges with so many people in Morocco and beyond to understand that if I only ask myself, what is the worst that can happen if I fail, which is nothing, I can be capable to do so many things in the end. So I imagine that It's not an easy job for all of us to think, yeah, I'm gonna do something, but the chances are it's either I'm gonna fail or I'm gonna win at it, which is totally fine. It's only like you have to be not like right in your mind if you think that I'm okay with failure. But I think it's something that you have to train, you have to get yourself used to it, and it's gonna take time eventually, and that is totally okay. So now I want you to close your eyes, please. Take a deep breath and think about the biggest dreams that you want to achieve in 5 or 10 years. Please dare to think about those dreams and think of yourself succeeding in them in 5 or 10 years. And at the same time, I want you to shift your mind and think about yourself in 5 or 10 years. Okay? But thinking that you are completely other than what you have dreamed. If it scares you, that's okay. If it cheers you up, that's okay. If it does nothing to you, that's totally okay also. But just remember, when you face challenges in life, which we all gonna do eventually, I want you to remember those words that we heard at the beginning of the presentation from the biggest and the greatest basketball player, Michael Jordan. I failed over and over and over. That's why I succeed. Thank you.